Hello, this is Sully Taylor with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to your podcast. We are here today to talk with candidates running in the May 20th, 2025 special election. We are grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Seiling Foundation, the League of Women Voters of Portland Education Fund, the WISE Foundation, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Virginia LaForte, who is running for Portland School District Director, Zone 5. Welcome, Ms. LaForte.
Thanks for having me.
Please tell us a little about yourself and why you are running for this office.
I'm running for this position. I am a PPS parent. I'm a 20-year resident of both North and Northeast Portland, and I've been a longtime champion for a PPS student. I've spent the last 13 years delivering real systemic and policy changes for PPS students and staff, and they've all positively impacted them. And I think that I've learned that if you want to change the system, you have to challenge it. I'm really good at that. And you have to understand it, you have to challenge it, and then you really have to stick around long enough to see things through. And I really believe that we have to work hard for our students, for every student, and I'm ready to do that. I am the parent of a recent PPS graduate and a current PPS high school freshman. So I have a front row seat to the student experience, and both at home, and I'm also on the site council for PPS's largest high school.
Thank you. So, what is your understanding of the primary functions and responsibilities of a public school board member?
So, great question. So, the role of the board is a governance role. And what that means is we set the vision for the district. We hire, support, and evaluate the superintendent. We approve general fund budgets and bond budgets. Obviously, with bonds, we have a set number, but within that large number, we carve out projects and where that money is specifically going to go. And the board also adopts policy for key areas like governance, like labor and staff, instruction and curriculum, areas like that. So they do set the board policy for the district. And I think it's also important that, they consider part of their job, engaging and building trust with, families, educators and students across the district.
Thank you. How would you address the issues facing the district schools that you consider the most urgent?
So I have three things that I consider the most urgent within PPS right now. And most importantly, we're talking about literacy gaps. Nearly 37% of our students are not reading at grade level, and we need to focus on the root causes. And if we don't know, we need to find out what they are. We're talking about things like school climate, meaningful curriculum, early intervention. We have to re-engage students and close these learning gaps. And PPS is in the process of implementing a new reading curriculum called science-based reading, which I am an ardent supporter of. But as we transition to this new curriculum, we have to retrain teachers, and that's really important. And then we also have to look at things like summer acceleration and high impact tutoring to get the kids that are behind up to speed. We can't afford not to have those supports in place. We also need to tackle chronic absenteeism. I find this statistic shocking, but 30% of our students are chronically absent, and that's without exception across all schools. This isn't an isolated problem at in certain neighborhoods or certain schools. It's everywhere. It's worse in our historically underserved neighborhoods. So I think we need to really start to understand and have a frontline support in each building to understand why this is happening and start solving for it. Because if they're not in school, they cannot learn. And then lastly, modernizing unsafe schools. This is something I have been championing for 13 years. The majority of PPS buildings, they're unsafe, they are unhealthy, and they are literally crumbling. It's stunning to me. And I've been very involved with advocacy around this area for years. I started in 2012, 2013, tackling deteriorating lead-based paint in our public schools. It took over 1,000 emails and on top of phone calls to get PPS to actually address the fact that there was lead dust contaminating so many of our schools, including my neighborhood school, which was eventually shut down and declared a hazmat area. But silver lining, the positive result of that is I was asked to join the 2017 Bond Stakeholder Advisory Group for PPS, where I was integral in steering the $150 million towards environmental health and safety. And those funds touched every school through lead paint abatement, lead pipe replacement, asbestos removal, seismic upgrades. And we also handled the rebuilds for Lincoln, McDaniel, Benson, and Kellogg. So, there's a long-term impact to the work I did there. Another example would be in 2018, PPS was getting ready to reopen Harriet Tubman Middle School with no regard for the obvious air quality issues. If you're familiar with the location of the school, you know that during urban renewal, Portland put a highway literally right through the playground. And I feel like when you have knowledge like that, you're really genuinely culpable if you don't act. And so I acted, and my advocacy was the reason for the creation of the Environmental Technical Advisory Committee at PPS, which hired PSU to conduct this massive air quality study, which you see referenced in a lot of articles now in Portland about our air quality. But I sat on that committee, and the result was getting $10 million allocated for the air filtration system that you could see on top of the high school. So I'm particularly proud of that. And most recently, I'm a co-founder of the Grant Bowl Community Coalition. The athletic field at Grant was condemned by Parks and Rec. It's been almost 2 years, well, year and a half, which is hard to believe. And I was the architect of the idea to transfer control of the property from Parks to PPS so that bond funds could be used for upgrades that we've needed for at least 75 years, lights, seating, things like that. And I'm really proud to say that the first ever public hearing for this initiative will be happening, it looks like, in early June with the city of Portland. So I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Laporte. This concludes our Video Voters Guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland, of Virginia Laporte, who's running for Portland School District Director, Zone 5. Election Day is Tuesday, May 20th. To find additional election resources, please visit the League of Women Voters of Portland's website, which is lwvpdx.org, and then exercise your right to vote. Your voice matters. Thank you for your interest.